Hello, and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. I'm still recovering from pneumonia, a bit of a croaky voice. However, symptoms are considerably better, and I've also had a nice wee couple of days city break, which has helped a lot in terms of my recovery. So back to normal now. All the Celtic players are back from international duty. It would appear on current news that all the players who were away on international duty have come back with a clean bill of health. Looks like all of Celtic's players except Luis Palma should be fit for the game against Livingston on Sunday. There is slightly contradictory news regarding Luis Palma. Some sources are saying he's likely out another couple of weeks, which would, of course, keep him out of the Rangers match. Some sources are saying that he should be fit for the Rangers match on the bench, although not fit for the game on Sunday against Livingston. Hopefully, press conference with Brendan Rodgers tomorrow should clarify exactly where Luis Palma is in terms of recovery. Rodgers didn't mention Luis Palma in his most recent press conference, but was saying that all the players, including McGregor and Hatate and CCV, were all in line for selection at the weekend. Now, before we crack on with the video itself, please do consider, if you haven't already, clicking that subscribe button. Get the subscriber numbers slowly creeping back up. As always, if you do enjoy the video, do click that like button and do feel free to pop your comments in the comment section as part of the debate and discussion on the channel, either regarding this video's topics or any other topics you wish to have a chat about with other like-minded Celtic fans. So, cracking on with the video itself, as I said, it would appear that Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate should be in line for selection at the weekend. Whether Celtic do pick them is another matter. The plastic pitch at Livingston is notorious for triggering off leg injuries, and given the fact that Hatate and McGregor are recovering from lower leg injuries, it might be a wee bit premature to risk them both for the game against Livingston, and I suspect they may well be on the bench, coming on for a short period, or may even be watching the game from the stands, being kept fresh and fit and safe for the Rangers match the following weekend. It does look like CCV will be playing against Livingston, which is slightly concerning given his recurring hamstring and leg problems. But it does look like Liam Scales will be beside him, and I feel things probably are safer with CCV rather than Stephen Welsh, as Rodgers seems to have dumped Gustav Lagerbielke on the scrap heap, and appears to be actively blocking Gustav Lagerbielke's career moving forwards. However, we'll see near close to the time just who among Celtic's squad is fit and ready. Talking about the international break, none of Celtic's players particularly had a happy international break. Alistair Johnston played in Canada's 2-0 win over Trinidad, which qualified them for the CONCACAF finals later. Johnston said to have played very well for Canada in that game. Daisen Maeda played for Japan in a World Cup qualifier against North Korea, winning that game 1-0, and Maeda was said to be one of the best players on the pitch that day, playing in a left-wing role. The return fixture against North Korea was then abandoned and given as a 3-0 win to Japan, and so Daisen Maeda was back in Glasgow early, which was good. Matt O'Reilly had a brief substitute appearance for Denmark without any great success. Similarly, Anthony Ralston had a brief sub-appearance against Holland for Scotland. Again, he played perfectly well, but unfortunately didn't get the starting position against Northern Ireland, where Scotland looked very weak in that position, with Nathan Patterson constantly caught out of position and defensively very poor. And so it might have been nice to see Ralston in place of Patterson. That game, Paulo Bernardo captained the Portuguese under-21 side to a 4-0 qualifier win over the Faroes, and then scored one of the goals in Portugal under-21's 5-1 win over Croatia in the qualifiers. Odin Thiago Holm played as a sub for Norway in under-21s. Again, not a particularly good performance. Rocco Vata scored a hat-trick for Ireland under-21s in their qualifier over San Marino, and is attracting a lot of interest from all around Europe. There are said to be a number of Serie A clubs lined up to sign him, and more English Premier League sides, including Everton and Notts Forest, are said to be lining up to sign Rocco Vata for cheap in the summer. Celtic would be getting around £300,000 to £400,000 compensation, and it absolutely mystifies me why Celtic haven't been pursuing further over the last year or so, getting Rocco Vata signed on an extended full contract, as he clearly is a player with a lot of promise and a lot of ability, who I can see getting better and better with time, and losing him for £300,000 or £400,000 compensation seemed really ridiculous for the quality of player he is so reminiscent of us losing Morrison to Bayern Munich and Doak to Liverpool for very low amounts of money in compensation. Players, both of whom, had we signed them to proper contracts, would have been worth millions to us, and also would have been good young players to go forward with as part of the Celtic squad. Greg Taylor was an unused sub in both games for Scotland. And finally, Celtic had players involved in the two Ireland fixtures, their friendlies against Belgium and against Switzerland. Adam Ida played in both games as a late sub, but did not make any particular contributions. And Mikey Johnson, who is still a Celtic player, although he's on loan at West Brom, he played against both Switzerland and against Belgium, and in particular in the Switzerland match was given an awful lot of criticism, and in essence it seemed to be the old Mikey Johnston, losing the ball a lot, passing to the wrong person, crossing the ball out of play, crossing the ball behind the oncoming attackers and midfielders, and it seemed to be the old Mikey Johnston rather than the new Mikey Johnston, who's been playing so well for West Brom in the English Championship. And one other player who is a Celtic player, although he's currently away on loan, Bojan Lawal, had a good game in the 7-0 win for Ireland under-21s, and his form on loan this season and in under-21 fixtures has been very encouraging with regards his long-term future at Celtic, and will be interesting to see how well Lawal does next season when hopefully Brendan Rodgers gets him involved in the first team squad. For me, Lawal is a player who's getting better and better, covers central defence. I think he, in the long run, will be better than Stephen Welsh, probably potentially as good as Liam Scales. So I think very much a player we should keep under consideration. And this season he has been playing in defensive midfield and in normal midfield roles, and again has shown a lot of ability and creativity when moved forward into midfield roles. So Lual, I think, is a very interesting player for Celtic's future, and do hope that Rodgers can use him in one way or another next season. But the good news really is that all of Celtic's international players have come back fully fit, all of whom should be fit and ready to play on Sunday against Livingston. Talking of the game against Livingston, just to relay the results of the online poll we had for the last few days on the channel in terms of partnering Kyogo and Maeda up front. The winner of the poll was Nicholas Kuhn with 55%, Luis Palma at 25%. That's going to be dependent on how fit he is, but I can certainly see Palma being a very important Celtic player in the run-in for the double. Yang came in at 16% and James Forrest at 4%. And in terms of the third midfielder role, Tomoki Iwata 18%, Rio Hatate 75%, Paolo Bernardo 7%. So clearly, the great majority of us on the channel are favouring Nicholas Kuhn up front to partner Maeda and Kyogo, and the very great majority of us are expecting Rio Hatate to be our third midfielder for the duration of the season. As I said earlier on, I can certainly see Rio Hatate being our starting number 3 midfielder from the Rangers match onwards, and I suspect he might get a small amount of game time against Livingston at the weekend, but trying to keep him in cotton wool and protected and keep his dodgy calves and leg muscles safe from further injury. And final wee piece of news today. Brendan Rodgers is facing a disciplinary hearing later today at the SFA for his comments regarding Don Robertson and primarily John Beaton after the farce of the VAR interventions in the Hearts game a couple of weeks ago, where we lost 2-0. Both controversial incidents where, in essence, John Beaton re-refereed the game, forcing Don Robertson into changing his already good, proper, correct first decisions. Looking at the evidence and the definitions of the charges Rodgers is facing, it does look like Rodgers pretty much is guilty as charged, because it's an offence for a team official, which Rodgers of course is, to imply or state that referees are incompetent or biased. He clearly states multiple times in his various different press conferences and interviews that he thought that Robertson and Beaton were incompetent, primarily John Beaton, and I think there was an underlying inference and implication that John Beaton also was biased against Celtic, and certainly does have quite a track record of decisions over the last 4 or 5 years which do seem to favour the opposition and go against Celtic for the very great majority of the time. Celtic have employed a lawyer to help defend Brendan Rodgers in the charges. As I said, it does look like Rodgers is guilty, and so there is a wide range of penalties he may be imposed. The usual punishment for this would be a 2-match ban, which of course would take him out of the Livingston match and then the Rangers match the following weekend. That ban can be up to three games, which would include then the St Mirren match following that. There is the option of giving no punishment at all. There is the option of giving a 1-match ban with 1 suspended, which of course would make him free for the Rangers match, or suspending both games, depending on future conduct. So there is a wide range of punishments the SFA can hand down, from a 3-match ban down to none at all, and they have got the option of suspending one or both of any match bans. This is supposed to be based on previous disciplinary record, and Rodgers actually has had no previous disciplinary problems with the SFA, and so in theory the disciplinary panel should treat Brendan Rodgers more kindly and more generously than repeat offenders such as Neil Lennon, for example, who got himself in very regular problems with the SFA for comments and behaviour on the touchline. So, as soon as I know any update on the SFA panel's decision, I'll add comment to that tomorrow in tomorrow's video. And in tomorrow's video, we'll start to look at Celtic's potential lineup. Hopefully, we'll have further information regarding whether Callum McGregor is definitely going to be back, where we are with Luis Palma. And of course, we'll also update on any further news of Celtic players, injuries and recoveries, etc. Plus, any other players Celtic are said to be scouting or looking to buy or loan in the summer transfer window. So that just about finishes things off for today. Just a wee reminder for those new to the videos, please do consider clicking that subscribe button. If you've enjoyed the video, please do click the like button. It does help with YouTube analytics. And as always, do feel free to pop your points of debate, discussion, etc. regarding Celtic into the comment section, and I'll reply as quick as I can. So for today, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for putting up with the croaky voice. Goodbye and hail, hail.